Ravi stood at a crowded bus stand in a small village near Mysuru, holding a torn backpack and a notebook filled with dreams. Every day he watched buses leave for big cities like Bengaluru and Hyderabad. People traveled with hope in their eyes, chasing better lives. Ravi wanted the same, but his reality was different. His father worked as a daily wage laborer, and his mother stitched clothes late into the night to support the family. Some days there was enough food, and some days there wasn't. Ravi had seen his parents sacrifice everything for their children. Deep inside, he carried one dream: to change his family's life forever. In school, Ravi was quiet and unnoticed. He was not the top student, nor the most confident. Whenever teachers asked students about their future goals, others proudly answered doctor, engineer, or police officer. Ravi stayed silent because he feared people would laugh at his dreams. One evening, while sitting beside the village lake, his friend Kiran asked why he always sat there alone. Ravi smiled softly and replied that it was the only place where his dreams felt bigger than his problems. Those words revealed the battle Ravi fought silently every day. A few weeks later, Ravi's father became seriously ill. The family had no savings, and survival became difficult. Ravi stopped going to school and started working at a tea stall in a nearby town. Every morning before sunrise, he cleaned glasses, served tea, and washed plates until late evening. The tea stall owner was strict, and customers often shouted at him for small mistakes. Slowly, Ravi began losing confidence. At night, he looked at his old school books and wondered if dreams were only meant for rich people. One rainy evening, an old man entered the tea store and noticed Ravi secretly reading a torn English book behind the counter. The old man asked whether Ravi studied. Ravi quietly replied that he used to study, but life had stopped him. The old man smiled gently and said that life stops everyone, but the difference is whether a person stops forever. Those simple words touched Ravi deeply. The old man became a regular customer and often spoke about discipline, struggle, and persistence. One day he asked Ravi what he truly wanted in life. Ravi answered without hesitation that he wanted his parents to live without suffering. The old man nodded and told him to remember one thing: pain is temporary, but quitting becomes permanent. That night, Ravi made a life-changing decision. He would work during the day and study at night. His routine became exhausting. He woke up at 4 in the morning, worked all day, and studied under a dim light bulb after returning home. Some nights he fell asleep over his books, and some days hunger distracted him completely. Yet he continued because he knew his family depended on him. Months later, Ravi applied for a scholarship exam. Students from expensive schools also attended, and seeing their confidence made Ravi nervous. For a moment he thought about leaving the exam hall, but he remembered the old man's words and stayed. The exam was difficult, and Ravi felt certain he had failed, but when the results came, he discovered he had passed. It was not a huge victory, but for Ravi it meant hope. With the scholarship money, he returned to school while continuing part-time work. He studied harder than ever before. However, life tested him once again. In his final exams, Ravi failed mathematics by just 2 marks. The result crushed him completely. Relatives mocked him, and neighbors whispered that poor people should not dream too big. That night, Ravi sat alone near the lake and cried for the first time in years. As he sat there in silence, he remembered something his mother once told him. Gold becomes beautiful only after surviving fire. Those words gave him strength. The next morning, Ravi started again. He practiced mathematics every single day until fear slowly turned into confidence. Months later, he appeared for the exam again and passed with excellent marks. When his father saw the result, he hugged Ravi tightly with tears in his eyes. That moment became more valuable than any prize Ravi could ever receive. Years passed, and Ravi moved to Bengaluru for college. Life in the city was difficult and competitive. He could not afford expensive clothes or gadgets like other students. To survive, he delivered food on a bicycle during nights and attended classes during the day. Some customers insulted him, and some ignored him completely. But Ravi kept moving forward. One evening, while delivering food to a large office building, he stood outside watching successful employees leave in expensive cars. Instead of feeling jealous, Ravi quietly whispered to himself that one day he too would walk out of a building like that. That dream became his motivation. After graduation, Ravi faced many job rejections. Every rejection hurt him deeply, but he refused to quit. Finally, a small company offered him a chance. The salary was low, but Ravi treated the opportunity like a stepping stone toward a better future. Years of hard work slowly changed his life. He learned new skills, gained experience, and eventually started his own business. The beginning was difficult, and failures came again, but compared to the struggles he had already survived, he now knew how to handle pain and disappointment. Step by step, his business began growing successfully. One afternoon, Ravi returned to his village after many years. He visited the same old tea stall where his journey had changed forever. The owner smiled proudly and told Ravi that he had become successful. Ravi stood silently, staring at those words. Suddenly, every painful moment of his life made sense. Poverty had taught him gratitude. Failure had taught him patience. Hardship had taught him strength. That evening, Ravi walked toward the lake where his journey had begun. Years ago, he had stood there as a frightened boy with impossible dreams. Now he stood there as proof that ordinary people can create extraordinary lives through persistence and courage. Looking at the night sky, Ravi whispered softly that dreams do not belong to the rich or lucky. Dreams belong to those who refuse to surrender.